Hey, welcome everybody. This is a special edition that Dan and I are doing at Talking College Football with Luke. Dan, thank you for being on such short notice.
Of course.
We're going to talk about the rankings and provide you with our thoughts, and then maybe look ahead at some of the games and what we expect to see. So, Dan, you had you got a huge following with us on your immediate post that you did the other day. Let's see, you talked about, oh heck, I'm sorry, Dan, I thought I had it right there.
Mm-hmm.
When you talked about pass for Notre Dame to get in, you had over 2,500 people who looked at it and agreed with you. Notre Dame had a complete shot. If you go back, you look at it, I'll post it down below, but it's Dan's instant reaction to the Alabama Notre Dame. And then he did Notre Dame makes a statement, we belong. So I'm going to suggest everybody get a chance to go back and look at those. So, Dan, let's talk about these rankings. Hear your thoughts, man.
All right. Well, I mean, the elephant in the room, the big.
So I'm tired.
Yeah. Obviously, everybody knows Notre Dame got left out. They were just ranked number 11, and they got jumped by the two Group of Five conference champions that leapfrogged them. And then Miami took their spot at number 10. But
hold on, Dan.
I don't know. Yeah.
In all honesty, you had to put the five conferences in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly,
yeah.
Yeah, my problem is not that Notre Dame got left out of the playoff. It's that the inconsistency with the committee. Here, I pulled it up earlier. If you look at where Miami was ranked when they first released the rankings, they were on November 4th. Miami was number 18th, then 15th, 13th, 12th, 12th again, and then 10th now. Notre Dame was number 10 on November 4th, then 9th, 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 then up to 10 again when Alabama jumped them for some reason, and then now 11th. So it's just what changed between those teams between now and November 4th. Notre Dame has not played worse. They've blown out every team they've played. Miami has not played better than that. They've played all right. They haven't lost any games since then, but what makes their record so different since then? And you can't even say the conference championship game like the Alabama argument. Miami didn't even make their conference title game. So, I don't know what it is. Why we're, yeah.
So, I guess there's some, that tiebreaker that they use for the ACC caused them not to make it. That's what put Duke in there. Because if they make it, then Notre Dame's in. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's all that was. That was Greg McElroy brought up a good point. He says, before we fix the playoff committee and how they put teams in there, maybe we should fix how these conferences determine who's going to be in those championship games. Because it was a tie-breaking system that they used that put Duke into the title game against Virginia. And we watch football just like everybody else who's watching us. It's a matter of we saw that Miami should have been in that championship game against Virginia. So anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just want I want to be fair to everybody. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was more referring to, like, if you look at the argument for Notre Dame versus Alabama, everyone's saying, okay, you got to respect the conference title game. Even though Alabama lost it, you don't want to encourage them or disincentivize a team to play in their own conference title game because it'll knock them out of the playoff, which I agree with. I think Alabama should have stayed in, but I think they maybe should have dropped to 10. Honestly, if Miami was going to get in, I think they should have been 9 over Alabama. Alabama has an unranked loss against Florida State, same as Miami does against a couple teams. And Alabama has 3 losses, so I think Miami should be number 9. Alabama should be 10. But what I was saying is, you don't even have the conference championship argument for Miami over Notre Dame. Neither of them qualified for a conference championship. And I'm venting a little bit, but this morning after it was announced that Notre Dame wasn't getting in, I was scrolling through Twitter, searching Notre Dame, seeing what people were saying. And I saw nonstop, join a conference. If you don't want this to happen, join a conference, and you'll play yourself in. You really want to join a conference? You see how these conferences have been run. You see what happened with the ACC. You see what's been happening with expansion the last few years. Now you have 18, 20 team conferences. The schedules are so bloated that a team like, I think Duke and Miami had like 2 common opponents, and they're in the same conference. We saw that Matt Campbell got hired by Penn State. So now he goes from playing Iowa, a team that's in his division, in his conference now. He goes from playing them every year to once every 3 years or 3 times every 10 years or something like that. And they're in the same conference. Why are they so big? It's something we may do later down the line, maybe in the offseason, a potential conference realignment just for fun. I know I've talked to you and Anwar about that. Like, okay, here's what they should be. Maybe we bring back the Pac-12 Big East or something like that. I think something like a 12, like a Power 6 would be better. And the conferences are tighter, everybody plays each other, and then those tiebreakers work. You don't need some new system of it. Everybody plays each other. It's pretty easy to figure out who it is. Like when these tiebreakers break down, it's because these teams aren't playing each other.
Yeah, I heard on the college football show on Sirius XM, and they were talking about. First off, let me address a couple of things. Reese Davis said, what conferences right now, are they really conferences anymore? It used to be highly regional. Now we're like the Big Ten, we go all across the country. Basically, they're just scheduling mechanisms. They're no longer that regional game where you could drive to Purdue, from Chicago or down to IU or up to Evanston. I mean, you're not going to fly all the way out to LA. That's the people who are the alumni who live out there to see a game. So that's what Reese Davis said, and I agree with them. They are really just scheduling mechanisms now. But the guys on Sirius said, hey, let's take the top 100 teams that are really serious about college football, and let's break them down into 10 conferences or 10 leagues or whatever you want to call them. So that means everybody has to play a 9-game schedule. And then you could have 3 at-larges. So now when you go to make that decision as to who gets in, you take the winners of those 10 conferences and 2 at-larges, or if we go to 24 or 16, then you would take an additional 2 at-larges and base it off that. That sounds okay until you realize that are there really 100 teams that are completely serious about college football?
Yeah.
I mean,
that is a good idea. Yeah.
Huh? I mean, they may.
No, keep going.
Yeah, they may be serious about college football, but are they willing to put in their $20 million to fund the football team? As opposed to, okay, I'm not throwing aspersions. I'm just using this team as an example. I'm a baseball school. I'm Tennessee, and my history in baseball is outstanding. That's where my money's going to go. So, and I understand the Vols are big time football, but they're also pretty big in baseball. So
that's a funny example.
State, which is a big time wrestling school. So anyway, it's food for thought.
Yeah. Well, that was a funny example.
The show is yours today, because I know you've got some heavy thoughts on. Listen, I'm a Buckeye fan. Heck, I didn't think we would be number 2. I thought we were going to be number 3. And I'll tell you why. Did you see the way Georgia played yesterday?
Yeah,
Georgia was
they looked
outstanding. Tough. I mean, I'm looking at Georgia and I'm like, holy crap. That might be the national champion, until I saw the game against Ohio State and then Indiana. And let's face it, Ohio State came across with that Michigan 2024 game plan and get beat 13-10. And guess who missed the same field goals against Michigan that year? He missed them again this year. You're Ohio State. You can't get a kicker? One of the top kickers in the world. Go to Australia and just get one. Anyway, I'm done.
Go search around the soccer locker room. Yeah, like I texted you guys last night. I think that it's good that Ohio State lost this game. I know it hurts, and I know that now they're instead of the 1 seed, they're the 2 seed. But I really don't think that Ohio State would have won the title game last year if they had won against Michigan. I think it knocked some sense into them. It made them take it seriously. This is really the first good team Ohio State's played all year. Like, how many ranked teams have they played? Like, nothing, not to like throw any dirt on their reputation, but like they haven't played a real deal top 10 team like this, and I think it's good for them. They taught it, they got it out of the way. Now they can face the playoff with the without the strong weight of expectations. Now they just got to prove that they were worth it, prove
Yeah.
why they were number one all year long.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that because you never want to lose, but I do understand repurposing a game and learning from it. Just like in business, I mean, as you know, the best you do is do a SWOT analysis: your strengths, weaknesses, and access. Strength, weaknesses, assets, and then you're going to go ahead and see how can I get better. So that's what they have to do, figure out where they are. And by them being number two, potentially by them being number two, they could face Indiana again if both teams are fortunate enough to survive their 3 games, or their 2 games to get to the national championship and play each other.
Mm. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Man, I'm hoping the Big Ten wins another title this year. Keep it, make it 3 years in a row. Ever since teams started, since everybody was able to pay their players, suddenly the Big Ten's doing better. SEC is not winning as many titles, so I don't know.
Yeah, there's a good article this morning. Somebody wrote, it only took Indiana 115 years to figure out you could pay people under the table to have a good team.
Yep, that implies that every other team was doing it except for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
anyway,
that actually reminds me of what you were saying earlier with the top 100 teams. Like, I mean, if we had taken the top 100 teams 5 years ago, Indiana would have been left out of that new system. So you never know which team will pop up. Maybe it's different now that NIL is kind of nationwide. Maybe whatever teams are good now are kind of set. The teams that really care, unless they get some billionaire donor in the future. But you never know. I mean, JMU, who would have seen them? They were D2 a couple years ago, or FCS. Yeah, FCS a few years ago.
but they legitimately made the move up because you're looking at the money. I was looking these first off, I think we're kind of all over the place, but the conference playoff games, I would imagine those are going away really soon. I think I left you a message, or Anwar, I'm not sure, probably both of you, as to what they make off of a college football playoff game.
Yeah, you sent it to
And
us.
yeah, it's $77 million for a CFP game. That's a lot of money. Okay. And
It's for
I'm
the network.
sure I didn't even look up to see what the conferences are making, but it's not that because I see where Ohio State sold the Big Ten championship game to Fox for, I think it was 30 or 40 million. And NBC is trying to sell next year's game to Amazon for 70 million. Well, you're still,
Hmm.
even at that, in which they are getting it from Fox for 40 million. So it's the 30, 40, 70 situation. 77 million is a lot of money. And if you can get 16 to 24 teams in there, cha-ching. So anyway,
We
hey,
saw the Big Ten propose a 2024 team playoff a few weeks earlier in the season.
hey, I
They
think there's a
know
way.
it's money. I think that would be a
Yeah.
horrible idea, though. There are not 24 teams that have a chance to win the title.
Well, let's think about this. First off, that's true, but that means you're going to have those 24 are going to play. So two games, 12 teams are going to win. And at that point, you are on schedule for your 12, just like we have right now. Then you're going to go 12,
Yeah.
6, like that, and a championship. So, who was it? Joel Klatt made a good. Did you see where he talked about moving? We do the week zero, making that
Hmm.
week one, ending the games prior to Thanksgiving, and adjusting the bowl so that what the Pop Tarts Bowl might be like round one, of a playoff, and the championship game would be on New Year's Day.
Yeah, I seen him say
I'm
that.
all for that. I think that made a ton of sense. Now, a lot of these communities rely on those bowl games because that's the hotels that go along with it, the restaurants that make a lot of money off the bowl games. I think you would want to figure out, are your bowl partners willing to work with you on
I like that idea. I don't think they should prolong the season farther past New Year's. Really, it's already late enough. By then, it's NFL playoffs, cold. It's already weird enough that we have teams having to fly south to the warm weather. So I think that it should get taken care of earlier. Like nobody wants to play a game in South Bend in December when they're covered in snow.
that? Well, Notre
Um,
Dame does.
same.
If they can get
Yeah.
somebody from the SEC to come up.
Yeah, well, that's why USC doesn't play Notre Dame at the end of the year. They always play them in the middle of the year if they're in Notre Dame, and they play them at the end of the year if they're in California,
Yeah,
because they don't want to come up in the snow.
nobody does.
Um, yeah, which is exactly what happened. But it is fun to see like the snow games. Like we saw that in some of the home playoff games last year. Was it Tennessee versus Ohio State? The Tennessee players took their shirts off and they were acting all tough, and they just got destroyed. Yeah. Um, but do you want to preview these next upcoming games?
Hold on just for one quick second because I wanted to read. I got a couple emails from a couple of our viewers. Mike Hill wrote me. Um, he's a big time Buckeye, and I'm just going to read verbatim what Mike said. Wish I could have made the last one. JMU, laugh out loud. No way, man. Them and Tulane have no business there, in my opinion. Notre Dame embarrasses either of them on any day. And these conferences are too big, and teams feast on the bad teams to boost their conference record. It should go by overall record to determine the conference rankings as well. So that was from him. And I thought that was a pretty good point. Let's see, got another one here from Lonnie. Lonnie Terry wrote, tough loss last night, but the Buckeyes are still in the mix. We had a lot of people who had a lot of feedback to the instant reaction we did last night and to yours. I don't know if you've been looking at the numbers and the responses, but anyway, so let's go ahead. Let's do a quick
Yeah.
look ahead.
Let's
Who
go
you
through the
got?
rankings
Let's talk
first. I
about that
forgot
first round.
we didn't even. Well, I forgot we didn't even go through the actual rankings.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. Number one, Indiana. Number two is Ohio State. Number three, Georgia. Number four, Texas Tech, and all four of those teams will have a first round bye. And then number five is Oregon. Number six, Ole Miss. Number seven, Texas A&M. Eight is Oklahoma, and those four will have a home playoff game. And the last four in are Alabama at number nine, Miami number 10. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the rankings. Notre Dame is number 11, BYU is number 12, but because you still need those final two conference champions, the real number 11 seed will be Tulane, and the number 12 seed will be James Madison, even though they were number 20 and 24 respectively.
Yep. So let's see if I can. I'm gonna see if I can put that on the screen now.
Be interesting. BYU fell a spot after losing their conference title game. They went from 11 to 12. North Texas ended up ranked number 25. Texas and Vanderbilt back to back at number 13 and 14. Virginia only fell 2 spots to number 19. That's surprising to me.
That surprised you?
Yeah, I think they should have fallen farther. Lost to Duke.
I'm trying to trying to download this.
It's graphic.
Trying to download this. Save image as.
And let's see, I have the bracket pulled up too. There's some funny matchups in here.
I'm gonna bring this up, Dan. I'm sorry, everybody. Yeah, we were gonna go live and we were having some issues. So
Hmm.
that's
Last
why
minute
it's
instant reaction
yeah,
rankings.
done. So now I should be able to bring it up. Upload media.
But here, while that's getting up, I mean, there are going to be a lot of blowouts in this first round. We saw that last year. Basically, every home team got, or every away team in that first round got blown out. Um, so you were saying like, yeah, if there's a 2014 playoff, it'll get down to 12 like it is now pretty quick. I don't even know if there should be 12. Like people, I don't know if there should be more than 8 because those bottom 4 teams, especially the group of 5 teams, I understand that it's nice to give them a chance, but they mostly don't belong in the same field as these. Like your friend Mike was saying.
Mm-hmm.
But really, if you're gonna like complain about Notre Dame not making it in, the problem is not with the group of 5 teams. They did their job. Part of it is the ACC being too weak and too like impotent to even make them like 2 group of 5 teams made it over the ACC. That's insane.
Yeah.
They need to take care of business, and I don't know what's going on. Or else pretty soon the ACC might become a group of 5 conference. Maybe the group of 7.
You really, I don't.
That's
You're just
interesting.
saying that off the cuff, so I'm not gonna hold you to that one.
All right. Yeah, no. It might, but I don't think it'll happen. But you know, it's interesting. You saw like the SEC and Big Ten kind of got their first pick of teams when they were realigning, and then the Big 12 scrambled, and the ACC was kind of left in the dust, and then the Pac-12 folded altogether. Pac-2 now. But I mean, you see the result of that now. It looked like the Big 12 was going to go the way of the Pac-12, but they did a pretty good job taking some teams, and then ACC
When
just
they're in.
yeah, ACC just kind of got the scrap. They got Stanford and SMU.
Yeah.
They didn't add a lot of heavy hitters. SMU is actually one of their better ads.
All right, so let's go through these games. Let's start with Oregon, James Madison. Actually, let's go in order in which they're played. How's that sound? So that's the 8-9, which is Oklahoma, Alabama, and the games in Norman. Who you got?
I think I got Oklahoma. It's funny, these teams play an opposite style of football. Alabama's all heavy through the air. They had -3 rush yards yesterday. Meanwhile, Oklahoma's more rush and more defense. So I think, especially at home, Oklahoma's going to show and why they belong and kind of repeat their win. We saw Texas Tech get their second straight win against BYU. I think Oklahoma's going to do the same thing.
Okay, and that game's December 19th at 7 p.m. Central on ESPN and ABC. So they'll show it on both networks. The next game is noon, December 20th. Miami, your favorite team, against Texas A&M. Gig 'em.
Other team, the 2 teams that beat Notre Dame.
College Station. I wish that was a night game. But that's going to be a day game. So
That'll be a good game.
Time here in Chicago. Go ahead, Dan. Who you got? Miami, Texas A&M.
I think Texas A&M is on a whole nother level than Miami. So I'm Texas A&M plus the home team. I'll go with the home team again. Texas A&M's quarterback doesn't throw 4 interceptions in a game. I think they're a more solid all-around team. Miami has some really good players, but I think A&M is better overall. And they've played against tougher competition. Miami losing 2 games to unranked teams, and both teams having a win over Notre Dame.
Okay. Going to throw you a curve. The game right after that at 2:30 Central Time on. Listen to this. It's on TNT and HBO. That is Tulane versus Ole Miss. And the big news, Ole Miss has a new head coach who was their defensive coordinator. As we know, we've talked about this ad nauseum. Kiffin is now at LSU, but he left. Charlie Weiss Jr., he's letting him go back and be the OC for Ole Miss. So Tulane at Ole Miss in Oxford, December 20th. Who you got? Or what's your analysis of it?
I think
more so than what you got.
Yeah, this will be an interesting game. We'll see how Ole Miss plays without their head coach. I know they still have, like you said, their coordinator and their defensive staff and all that, but I mean, Lane Kiffin was the play caller. Charlie Weiss Jr. was the OC, but Kiffin was doing a lot for that team, so we'll see how they do. I think it may be good for them. They kind of have a warm-up game against Tulane. Tulane's a good team, but they're nothing compared to Ole Miss. So I don't think this will be close. So yeah, and I think it's funny that they're playing a team from Louisiana, just not the one that took their coach.
Right.
But yeah, Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss will win that one pretty safely.
Okay. All right. Excuse me. So the next game, I finally got this thing. So the next game we have is that night, 6:30 Central Time. JMU, James Madison, is at Autzen against the Ducks. Who you got?
I think it'll be Oregon by a pretty wide margin. Um, yeah, Oregon is a very complete team. I think they're one of the teams. I think they're maybe the only team I see in this first round playing that has a real shot at the title game. Maybe A&M, but I think that of these 8 teams we're talking about right now, Oregon has the best chance. And fittingly so, they're ranked number 5, so they're just outside the top 4. But yeah, Oregon is a very complete team. They can run the ball, they can pass the ball, they have a solid defense. I don't think that James Madison's going to stop them in any phase of the game.
Okay. Excuse me.
That'll be a cold one. I'm not too familiar with the weather up there, but I know it's not warm.
Well, I mean, Oregon's still right there on the Pacific Ocean. So it should be okay. It should be okay.
Yeah.
It should be a nice evening. It's always relatively pleasant. It's not like terribly cold. My cats are in the background getting on my nerves. All right. So if we go with what you just said, get back over here. If we go with what you just said, then the next game, sorry about that. So that means you got Oklahoma beating Alabama. That means Indiana would get Oklahoma. You got Texas A&M getting Ohio State. You got Ole Miss getting Georgia. And you got Oregon, Texas Tech. Whoa. Now, I guess Indiana got first choice, and they chose the Rose Bowl. Ohio State's going to the Cotton Bowl at AT&T Stadium. Georgia's got the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, and Texas Tech is in the Orange Bowl. So, wow, look how far Oregon has to travel to play in that game. Holy man.
It's almost as far as you can get.
Yeah. Just about. Yeah. The only other would be if the Washington UW would have been in there. UW can't say that because that's Wisconsin. If Washington had made it, then they would be traveling down there. So that'd be a big trip. So
Or the Bahama Bowl. So that would have been farther.
Or you know what? I think didn't another league take that over from the MAC, because I thought that was one of the best bowl games there was, even though it's only in front of 25,000 people. The fact that you got to go to the Bahamas, man, for a bowl game.
Yeah. I think, wasn't there a year too where it wasn't the Bahamas? They had the Bahama Bowl in Florida or something? Because it might have been COVID thing or something.
Oh, COVID. Okay. Yeah. It could have been, a couple of years ago. I saw an article I wanted to talk about real quick. And that article was Iowa State and Kansas State have turned down their bowls. That's significant for 2 reasons. The first being they just barely had enough team to cover all the bowls. And now you got 2 teams, Iowa State at 8-4 and Kansas State at 6-6 are now pulling out. So that means the bowl replacements will have to come from teams that finished 5-7. And they go by the it's called the academic progress rate, APR. And so that choice is going to come from Rice, Auburn, and Florida State. And I would imagine Rutgers would probably be in there as well. What are your thoughts on something like that happening? You can understand Iowa State. They're a brand new team now with their head coach now at Penn State. Same thing with Kansas State. So they got a new coach.
Yeah. I saw a little bit about Kansas State's situation. I didn't know that Iowa State was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I think it's odd. It's really surprising me because for Kansas State, I know they said that the players voted on whether they're going to play in the bowl or not. That's just hard for me to believe that. I mean, I'm not accusing them of lying about it, but it's crazy to me to even consider that players would not want to play an extra bowl. I know that it's different for me, but a lot of these guys, this is their last chance to play on the field. This is even for the best college football team. The majority of those players are not going to be in the NFL. This is their last time ever strapping it up. But especially for a team like Kansas State, maybe like 4 or 5 of those guys are going to be playing in the future. You know, once they graduate, maybe more than that. But it's not a lot of people. Surprising that they would. I mean, it's kind of one of the consequences of the college football playoff, kind of just making bowls mean even less and less. I mean, in Kansas State's stance, it could be because there have been such an inflated number of bowls, where it doesn't mean as much as it used to. You have to be 500 to make one. It's a nice little reward at the end of the year, but I guess they just didn't want it without their coach.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, hey Dan, thanks for hopping on. This was, you know, it's going to be exciting. The playoffs are always exciting. Yeah, there was a little bit drama going up in there. I think there's going to be changes. Not just no, I don't feel bad for any of the teams that made it, but Texas legitimately had a real argument, as did Vanderbilt, and certainly Notre Dame. We'll be looking forward to them in the pool and weed whacker game. I don't know which ones they've accepted. Have they made the bowl announcements yet?
They have for some of them. I heard that Illinois was going to be in the Music City Bowl. I think that Notre Dame should be in the Pop-Tart Bowl because that's the highest of the non-playoff ones. Mm-hmm. So I saw projections saying it would be Notre Dame versus Arizona, I think, but I could be wrong about that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess we'll see. Those might have been out already actually while we recorded, but it's like you said, I don't feel sorry for them. You go ahead.
Final thoughts on the Heisman.
Heisman. I think Mendoza sealed it out.
Did Mendoza win it last night?
I think so. Mm-hmm. And that gets released. The finalists are released tonight too. I think, right? So I'll make my prediction. I think the finalists will be Mendoza, Pavia, and Love. I think they're going to leave staying out, and I think it'll be Mendoza in the end.
Okay. So
he may be punished for being a freshman.
Go ahead.
I think Stayen might be punished for being a freshman since he has a chance to get it again next year, and he's going to be able to keep on playing where the other two guys don't.
Yeah, that's it for them. So I think they have the New York Times, which for some reason right now I can't get the bowl schedule. Normally I can because they just released it, maybe because it's so new. 1 hour ago, Tennessee.
Here, I'm looking at sporting.
They got college football playoffs.
Oh, I have a few.
You got a couple.
I think they're currently because a lot of these are blank so far. So
okay,
they'll have the okay. So the first, yeah.
Here I got a couple right now. USF is in the Cure Bowl against Old Dominion. I'm just looking at some of the teams that we talked about throughout the year that they've listed. This is not making.
I see the LA Bowl.
Who's in that?
LA Bowl is Boise State.
They accepted that.
It looks like it, yeah.
The Hawaii Bowl was Cal versus Hawaii.
That's good. Home game for Hawaii.
Yeah. Yeah. And nobody's reporting on these bowls. I think the Big Ten, they made their own announcement for that.
That explains it, yeah. Because I see Penn State is listed, but their opponent is not for the Pinstripe Bowl.
They have it?
Yeah, but they don't have their opponent. So just Penn State is announced. So you may be right. It may be a conference. Yeah, there it is. Illinois versus Tennessee in the Music City Bowl. All right, that's interesting. That's actually funny. Yeah, a lot of orange in that crowd.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be fun. Playing Tennessee in Tennessee. It's funny. Illinois basketball played against Tennessee in Nashville literally last night. Illinois won that one, so that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Michigan versus Texas will be a good one. Citrus Bowl.
That's going to be in the Citrus Bowl?
Yeah.
Just think the Citrus Bowl kind of got left out of all of these when the BCS came around. That used to be outside of the Big Four, which was the Rose, Orange, Sugar, and Fiesta. That was the next game down outside of those group, the Citrus Bowl. And that was always the Big Ten against the SEC. And that's where the second place Big Ten team used to go to. So it's going to be interesting going forward what happens to these bowls. All right, Dan. So thanks for hopping on today, such short notice. Talking college football with Luke, Dan, and Anwar.
Hey,
Anwar's not here. Appreciate anybody's feedback, what you think. For our Notre Dame followers, it was a great season. Don't worry about it. 10-2 is nothing to sneeze at. And leave your comments below. Dan told me he's ready for the Bears season now. He's got his Walter Payton jersey on. He's showing it right now. Because today at 3:30 they play against the Green Bay Packers. So that's here, right? Is that here or is that up there?
No, this one's Green Bay.
So if we got about 4 inches of snow, what do you think they got up there?
Man, that's got to be crazy.
I bet you they got hammered, man.
At least double. That'll be interesting.
I was looking at
plus the red on the lake
for the Bills game. Let me pull the weather for Green Bay weather. 17 degrees in Green Bay with snow. So, oh man, that's going to be wild up there. All right. And you got your Sox jersey hat on. Wow.
Yeah, always.
I know you've been a Sox fan ever since you were a kid. So I guess everybody who grew up in the block around here is a Sox fans, as opposed to, I know most people think people from Chicago are Cubs fans, but it's split down the middle pretty evenly. We all agree on the Bears, and we all agree on, we're split on the Bulls and Blackhawks. Probably about 60% Bull, 40% Blackhawks. But we're all 100% behind. We're 99.9% behind the Bears. Because you do have some people who like Green Bay who are sickos who live here in our town.
Mental ill ones here.
Thank you.
All right. I'll see you Thursday.
Okay. All right. Talk to you later.
All right.
Let's see. So stop.